Many of you watching this video are either thinking or actually moving to Calgary, but is it really worth the cost of admission? So if you're curious what it actually costs to live in this city, stay tuned. My name is Ryan Gillard with eXp Realty. I'm a local realtor here in Calgary, and this video is all about the cost of living in Calgary. I will cover everything from housing costs, both to buy and to rent, gas, groceries, restaurants, pubs, activities, and so much more. So let's get into it. By far, the biggest expense you'll have in Calgary is housing, either for purchase or for rent. I'm filming this video early February 2023, and at the moment there is a surge of both international and interprovincial migration into Alberta and Calgary in particular, which is contributing to tighter housing conditions, which is also driving the costs of housing up. So why is this the case? I would say it's predominantly for two reasons. The first reason, there's a lot of employment opportunities in Alberta. And the second reason is that in Canada, the cost of living has gotten completely out of hand, especially in areas like British Columbia and Ontario. A lot of people who are living there are simply priced out, and they're looking to relocate to areas with good jobs and just a cheaper cost of living. So many of them are turning to Alberta. On that note, Calgary is not nearly as expensive as parts of British Columbia and Ontario, and there are loads of people moving here from those two provinces right now. In particular, there are so many people coming here from the Greater Toronto area, and it's definitely having an impact on our real estate prices, and prices are going up. Now, countrywide, I would say Calgary is probably in the middle of the pack in terms of real estate costs. We're definitely more expensive than places like Edmonton, Winnipeg, Regina, smaller towns, and the Maritime provinces, but we're not nearly as expensive as, say, Toronto, the GTA area, Southern Ontario, Vancouver, the Okanagan, Vancouver Island. So I'd say we're about in the middle of the pack. So let's take a closer look at real estate costs in Calgary. So before we do that, again, I am a local real estate agent here in Calgary, and I shoot a lot of videos like this about what it's like to live in Calgary, as well as real estate videos. I recently made a detailed video about where to live in the inner city, which you can find right here. In this video, I went to every single neighborhood in the inner city, and I just go over all the pros and cons as well as the housing costs per neighborhood. So it's a very good detailed guide for Calgary. Now, I shoot a lot of videos like this. My goal is to do it once every week. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified as soon as those videos are released. And again, if you have any questions about buying or selling in the city, please reach out to me. I'm easy to get a hold of. All of my information is in the written description below. And again, I answer all questions directed my way. Okay, now I'll touch on housing costs in the city, and I'll start with detached properties. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Calgary, this map should help. In terms of detached homes, the most expensive part of Calgary would be the inner city, so the city center and the west end, these two regions over here, followed by the northwest region, then South Calgary, then the northeast, and the most affordable part of Calgary would be the eastern section right over here. As of right now, the benchmark price in Calgary is about $630,000. And upcoming, I'll show you a quick video of a home tour that's in that price range, around $600,000, in the neighborhood of Southwood, which is kind of over here. And it'll give you a good sense of what you can buy for around $600,000 in the city. Okay, so let's look at what the actual monthly mortgage payment would look like if you bought a property for $630,000, which again is the benchmark price in the city for a detached home. So $630,000, if you put 5% down, you can only do 5% up to $500,000, and then everything over that would be 10% down. So in total, that works out to $38,000 down. I'm using $4,000 a year for taxes, which I would say is very realistic. I'm also using a 4.74% interest rate, which looks like it's a pretty standard rate at the moment. your monthly payment would be about $3,490. Moving along to the semi-detached sector, so these are like duplexes, and in terms of pricing, it does follow the same pattern as detached homes, where the most expensive regions are the city center towards the west end. And right now, the benchmark price of a semi-detached property is $566,000. And again, so what does that look like for a monthly payment? If we're putting 5% down up to $500K and 10% on the rest, that works out to $31,600 as the down payment, about $3,000 a year in taxes, and the monthly payment would be about $3,150. So moving along, let's talk about row houses. So these are townhouses basically, and the benchmark price of a townhouse in Calgary is about $355,000. Again, if we put down 5%, that's about $17,750. Taxes about $2,000 per year, and the monthly payment is just under $2,000 per month. Okay, so the last sector that we'll touch on here is the apartment-style condo sector. Right now, the benchmark price is about $271,000. At 5% down, that's about $13,550. Taxes about $1,500 per year, and the monthly payment would be about $1,517. Now, that doesn't include condo fees. And I would say, on average, condo fees in Calgary are about $300 to $500 per month. Usually they include everything but electricity, so they'll include like heat, water, gas, snow removal, parking, professional management. There's the odd condo that does include electricity, but most of them don't. And condo fees are usually based on the size of the condo. So if you're buying a home that's like a $2 million condo that's massive, you're going to have a huge condo fee, maybe even $1,500 to $2,000 per month, just as an estimate. But most of like the 1 to 2 bedroom, like reasonably priced condos, I would say the condo fee is about $300 to $500 per month. Now, if you have more questions about mortgage payments, I actually have a tool in my website to help you calculate what the mortgage payment will look like. You can click the link right here, and you can also go to my website at www.ryangillard.ca. Now, I also deal with some of the best mortgage brokers in the city, so if you have any questions at all about mortgage payments or getting a pre-approval, please reach out and I can point you in the right direction. Okay, let's briefly touch on property taxes. So if you're buying a property around $250,000, I would say you're paying about $1,000 to about $1,500 per year in taxes. $500,000, you're looking about $2,500 to $3,000 a year. $750,000, about $4,000. $1 million, about $5,000 to $7,000 per year. And $2 million, you're looking at about $10,000 to $15,000 per year. And it's also noteworthy to touch on that some neighborhoods, not all of them, I'd say about 20% of neighborhoods have something called a homeowners association fee. That's an annual fee that gets you like lake access or extra gardening and stuff like that, extra maintenance, and that fee might be about $300 to $400 per year. So it's not much, but it is a cost that some neighborhoods have. Next up, let's touch on renting. Now, I don't handle rentals, but I can give you a rough idea of what the costs are. So if you are looking for a rental in the inner city, just like an apartment-style condo, I would say for a one-bedroom, it's probably around $1,500. And for a full house, maybe somewhere out in the suburbs, you'd be about $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Now, at the moment, our rental market is pretty tight and the costs are going up. But that gives you a rough idea of the cost. Again, I don't do rentals, but I know there's a good website called rentfaster.ca. So if you have any questions, I would definitely check out that website. Moving along to utilities, so I've pulled up my actual bill here just so you can see better what's kind of going on. Now, I use a company called NMAX just because they pool everything together, but there are other companies that you could check out as well. And so first things first, let's talk about if you're renting a property. Say you're renting like a condo style apartment, you might only have to pay for electricity because everything else might be covered by the condo fees. And if you're renting, say, a basement suite and the owner's upstairs, maybe you're splitting the utilities in half. So it's always a bit different if you're renting. But if you are the owner, you'll have to cover like heat, gas, electricity, water, recycling, garbage. And so my bill here, you can see it here. My most recent bill was about $305. That's the highest I've ever seen it, actually. And so we are in the dead of winter. I'm filming this early February of 2023. And I'll just show you how the bill fluctuates. So right here, so this is my most recent bill, $305. You can see it got as low as $165 in the summertime. But generally speaking, it seems to be in the higher 200s. This is last year, 2021. You can see $275, $212. Generally speaking, between $200 to $300. Now I'll just go back to my bill here so you can see how it breaks down. So for the most recent month, electricity, about $40. Natural gas is the big one here, $153. Natural gas prices have really, they've really increased the last year or so, and that's definitely having an impact on utilities. Water treatment and supply, $21. Wastewater collection and treatment, $35. Stormwater management, don't ask me what that is, $15. Waste and recycling. So in Calgary, there are 3 different bins. There's a black bin for garbage, the blue bin for recycling, and there's a green bin for biodegradable stuff. So all of that is about $25 per month. And again, my bill was about $305 per month. Just to clarify, I'm living in like a 1,000 square foot bungalow with a basement in it. And so my property is not massive, but if you are in like a bigger house with a bigger family, I've heard of people that are paying like $600 to $700 per month for utilities. So it's definitely one of the more expensive things about living in Alberta. Next up are cell phone, internet, cable, and streaming services. Now the big providers out here are TELUS, Shaw, Rogers, Bell. And so right now my cell phone bill is about $80 per month. It was around $60 for the longest time. But I recently bought a new cell phone and the increase is paying off the phone over time. Now I also use a corporate realtor account that's pretty solid. So $80 a month gets me pretty much everything, like all the data, all the Wi-Fi, long distance. So it's a pretty solid plan. If I was using like a regular plan, but doing the work that I'm currently doing, my bill would be like way higher, like maybe like $150 per month. So it definitely depends on what kind of plan you have. So I would definitely shop around. In terms of TV and internet, at the moment I'm paying about $100 per month for high-speed fiber optic internet, and I have cable with like the sports package. My bill was getting up there. It was like $130, $140 per month, and I got a bit fed up and I was going to cancel and just go with like Netflix and like Prime Video. And they actually, instead of losing me, they actually dropped their fees to about $100 per month. So not too bad at all. And for streaming services, it's the same as anywhere else in the world, I believe. I think my Netflix bill is about $15 per month. Next up are transportation costs. So Calgary is definitely a bit of a car city. It's a better city if you have a car. So you're going to need to have car insurance. Now, because I'm a realtor and sometimes I have people in my car, my rates are a bit higher than like the typical people out there. So at the moment, my insurance is about $150 per month. But if I was just, driving to work and whatnot by myself, I think my bill might be, say, like $100 per month. Gas right now in Calgary, last I checked, was about around $1.30, which is about right for the long-term average. Around this time last year, it really shot up. It was around $1.80, I believe, was the highest I've seen. That was with like the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So the prices were getting a bit out of hand. And the lowest I've seen gas prices were in like 2015 when the market kind of collapsed for energy prices. And they went down to about 40 cents, I think, but that's pretty rare. And I'd say $1.80 is also pretty rare. So around $1.30 is probably a good estimate average. So I drive a Jeep Cherokee, and for me to fill up my entire tank is around $70 if it's getting pretty low. Now, I did say that Calgary is a bit of a car city, but if you are living and working downtown, you could probably get by without having a car. If you're living out in the suburbs, if you live close to a C-train line, you could probably get by without a car as well. Now, speaking of the C-train, you can see the map in the background here. It does cover a fair portion of the city, and they're also expanding it as well. The Green Line is under construction as we speak. To use the C-train for like a single ride, the ticket is about $3.60. For a day pass, I believe it's about around $11 for the whole day. And a monthly pass is $112 per month. So it's not cheap, but still it's a bit cheaper than having a car. And we also have Uber in Calgary. So I just pulled up a little map here. So I live in Capitol Hill, and if I take the Uber to downtown, it's about a $15 ride. Now this goes up depending on the time of day and if it's a holiday and stuff like that. But in general, I would say from where I live to downtown, it's about $15. If I go to the airport, it's a little bit more because they tack on fees if you get dropped off at the airport. From where I live to the airport, it's about $30. One thing to make a note of as well is there are tons of dedicated bike lanes throughout the city. So if you don't want to have a car and you don't want to take the transit, biking is also an option in Calgary. All right, so let's talk about some basic food costs now. And I actually just went grocery shopping the other day, and I took a few photos of just some basic staple items just to give you a better sense of the pricing. Now, a bit of a disclaimer in that right now in Canada, inflation is out of control, and the food costs, it seems like they've doubled in the past 6 months or so. So they're just definitely really high at the moment. They might come down, but right now they are high. So let's talk about some basic items here. So for milk, about $3.50 for a 2-liter jug, $5.50-ish for a big 4-liter jug. Eggs are about $3.50 for a dozen. And for a bigger box, it's about $30. Sorry, it's about $9 for a box of 30. Butter is always a bit expensive, $5 to $7 for a stick of butter. For bread, some of the lower quality types of bread are like $2 a loaf, maybe up to $5 for a fancier loaf. For the basic cheeses like cheddar and mozza, a big stick is like $5 to $8. Apples are $2.99 a pound. Bananas about 79 cents a pound. For potatoes, about $6 for a big bag, or individually they're about $2 per pound. Most condiments are around, say, $2.50 to $4 depending on the size. Flour, depending on the size, is about $4 to $7 for a bag. A bag of sugar is about $5. Lemons are about $1 per lemon. Lettuce is quite expensive right now, about $3 to $4 per head. Lunch meat, usually it's about $2 to $4 per 100 grams. Cookies and treats, stuff like that, usually like $3 to $5 for a box. For cereal, about $3 to $6 depending on the size of it. For rice, it just depends on the size of the bag. Like I saw as low as like $3 for a smaller bag, up to $25 for like a massive family-sized bag that could last you like a year. Steak, Calgary is known for steak, but it's still super expensive here. And most of the packs that I saw were about $30 for 1 or 2 steaks. So I would say for a single person per month for food costs, I'd say it's about $200 to $300 per month. So let's talk about restaurant costs now as well. So if you go to like a typical, like a local neighborhood pub or a restaurant, nothing too fancy, I would say most meals are like $15 to $20, I would say. A beer might be like $7 or $8, and a glass of wine might be the same. If you go to like a mid-range restaurant, maybe around $30 for a meal, not including the drinks and stuff like that. And for a high-end restaurant, it might be, say, $60 to $150 per meal, not including drinks as well. So it can be as pricey as you want to be, but on average, most typical places, most meals are like $15 to $20. Last on our list are just some miscellaneous costs that you might be interested in. First up are childcare costs, which can be very expensive in Alberta. I've heard it can be anywhere from, say, $300 to $1,000 per month per child, which is pretty significant. Next up are healthcare costs. Now, a lot of employees will have this covered by their employer, but people like myself who are self-employed, they might have to pay for this themselves. So I'm paying about $150 per month, and it gets me a few different things. So I think it covers 80% of prescription drugs, about $500 per year per practitioner. So chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage therapists, physiotherapy, stuff like that. So $500 per year for that. For dental, I believe it covers 100% of the basic stuff like checkups, x-rays, cavities. And for major work like root canals and stuff like that, I believe half of it is covered. So let's talk about some activities. In Calgary, skiing is very popular, and the two major ski resorts that are around this area, there are others, but the two big ones would be Sunshine Village and Lake Louise. Not cheap by any means, around $150 per lift pass per day. Excellent mountains though, but it is definitely pricey. Golf is also very popular in Calgary and the area. Now, golf can be super expensive depending on where you're going and whatnot, but I would say for the everyday courses and the city-owned courses, stuff like that, an average might be $60 to $70 for 18 holes. I also play beer league hockey, and my season, it's about 35 games or so, and that costs me about $600 per season. I'm also big into hiking. There never used to be a cost for it if you went out to like Kananaskis and stuff like that. But ever since COVID started, the mountains just got so busy that there's a cost now to help keep them maintained. And I believe it's about $80 or $90 per year. So I think it's pretty significant. If you go to Banff for the day, there's also like a $10 fee to do that. And last up, if you're into movies, I think the prices are similar across the country. To go out to the theater might be around $15, I would say. Again, my name is Ryan Gillard. I'm a local real estate agent here in the area. Thank you so much for watching. Now, again, if you have any questions at all about buying or selling or relocating here from somewhere else, feel free to reach out. I'm very easy to get a hold of. All of my information is in the written description below. You can call, text, or email, and I will receive it and I will get back to you. If you like the content, please check out these other two videos right here, the pros and cons of living in Calgary, and also where to live in the inner city. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.